Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is still holding above this crucial area of support on the daily time frame as the price continues to play out the short-term bullish divergence in the immediate short term. But we cannot forget about this major area of liquidity building just above the price of Bitcoin in the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, while Ethereum, at least right now in the shorter term, is getting squeezed between this resistance while trying to play out the oversold signal, similar to XRP, right now trying to play out this bullish divergence, but squeezing between playing out the bullish divergence and struggling at this resistance. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Bitcoin price chart, and the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bull market. But on this weekly Bitcoin price chart, we still have this massive bearish divergence continuing to play out, still influencing the price of Bitcoin on these larger timeframes here, which means continue to expect a lack in bullish momentum and continue to expect a lot of weakness for the price of Bitcoin, which means at best some choppy sideways price action, but most likely a bit more of a pullback coming over the next few weeks or months as a very likely scenario. And remember, I've been warning about that since basically the all-time high, and it has been playing out here. So continue to expect the same price action that I've been warning about for weeks now. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin price chart, at least for now, we're still holding above this crucial area of support here, currently seeing multiple bounces from this exact area of support, sitting in between 99,000 to 100,000. So continue to expect a lot of support in that area, roughly 100,000 give or take, slightly either side of 100,000. And of course, in terms of resistance, expect a lot of resistance at around 106,000 if we bounce back up there, and more resistance at around 110.5k to 111,000. And if the price of Bitcoin eventually breaks below around 99 to 100,000, below this support, in that situation, of course, the next support could be possibly sitting around here at around 97,000. But if we break below that level, expect a move down towards around 93 to 94,000 as another important level of support. And if we're taking a quick look at the shorter term here on the 6-hour Bitcoin price chart, technically speaking, we're still playing out this shorter term bullish divergence that I talked about in my last video. We have now seen multiple confirmation signals confirming the high low in place in the 6-hour Bitcoin RSI. So once again, we have clear lower lows in the price in the candle closes and higher lows in the 6-hour Bitcoin RSI, which is indeed a bullish divergence. And the last time we saw a bullish divergence on the 6-hour Bitcoin price chart, we started off with a bit of choppy sideways price action, as we could see right here over the next few days. And then we saw a little bit more of just a slight bullish relief over the following week or so, but not necessarily a massive bullish trend reversal with huge bullish momentum, just a shorter term relief during a bearish trend or a bearish movement. And so that is likely going to continue to play out just in the short term for the remainder of the weekend, maybe even leading into the new week, depending on what the stock market does, of course, when it opens back up on the new week. But overall, over the weekend, I do expect most likely a bit of choppy sideways price action like what we initially saw at the previous bullish divergence right here. Ultimately expect a bit of choppy sideways price action as a very likely scenario here in the short term. And then maybe we could start to see just a slight bullish relief, but overall, once again, expect weakness lacking bullish momentum, which means if we do see a bullish relief, don't expect significant momentum towards the upside or significant strength towards the upside. At least for now, that is unlikely. And as for my Bitcoin trading strategy, right now it has been unchanged for weeks now on the channel. Of course, I'm still currently in the futures grid bot trading strategy, which basically buys low and sells high automatically. So if we see a dump in the price of Bitcoin, it has buy orders to the downside, as you can see right here, and it automatically replaces those orders. If we see a bounce back towards the upside, it hits sell orders and places new buy orders just below the price. So the moment we see another little dip, it buys more Bitcoin. The moment we see another little bounce, it sells that Bitcoin at higher prices to take profits along the way. And so basically, the one outcome where this trading strategy loses money is if we just see essentially a straight line down like this dump right here. Of course, this trade can go into an unrealized loss. And if we just see a straight dump down, then of course, this trade can be a losing strategy strategy, but for as long as we see some sort of volatility in both directions, so for as long as we see, let's just say, choppy sideways price action or maybe a slight little bounce here and there, then because that hits some of these sell orders, it secures profits along the way. As you can see right here in the grid profit, that is the realized profits with the price simply hitting these sell orders. And of course, those realized profits can help offset some of the unrealized profits from the price simply dumping over the last 1 week or so. Of course, this trading strategy is buying Bitcoin as we go lower, which means if the price dumps, it can go into an unrealized loss. But like I just said, if the price sees a quick little bounce back towards the upside very quickly, this can hop back into a profit with the realized grid profits over here by hitting these sell orders. And so, for example, if this bullish divergence continues to play out with some choppy sideways price action or slight little bullish relief, that is essentially the perfect price action that ideally would need to see for this trading strategy to continue to make profits here in the short term. And so that's an update on my trading strategy. Not much has changed over the last 1 day. Overall, those are my expectations for the weekend and the next few days or so. And of course, the bigger picture still not looking too good when we're talking about multiple weeks, if not months. But if you want to copy my exact trading strategy, I will leave a link below this video. In fact, the second link below this video will take you to this page right here where you can copy my exact trading strategy if you want to, which has been running for over 3 weeks now. But because this trading strategy is set up over on my Pinex account, of course, you will need to make a Pinex account to copy this trading strategy if you want to. So I'll leave a link below this video to Pinex. In fact, that first link below this video will take you to this page right here, where you can also take advantage of a bunch of bonuses, essentially free money from the exchange, just by simply making an account at Pinex using the link below the video. If you complete KYC, you get a 50 USDT bonus on your account. And there's also deposit bonuses. If you deposit just 100 USDT, you get a 100 USDT bonus on your account. If you deposit 10,000, you get a $1,000 bonus onto your Pinex account. So essentially free money from the exchange, which you can then go ahead to use to actually open these sort of trading strategies just by simply making deposits or completing KYC using the link below the video to Pinex. But once again, all of these bonuses right here are only available if you're using the link below the video to actually make your Pinex account. And also, in case you're wondering, you can actually only copy this trading strategy if you're using one of the links below the video to make your Pinex account. If you don't use those links, unfortunately, this copy button simply will not work. So that's just an update on my trading strategy. And taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we could see a small amount of liquidity building below the price at around 98,500, around 98.4K to 98.6K, give or take. But most of the liquidity, at least in the short term, that's relatively close to the price of Bitcoin, is building just above the price in between 104.8K to 105.3K. So give or take 105,000, we have a lot of liquidity starting to build there, which is sitting right around here on the price chart. And so if this bullish divergence continues to play out like a typical bullish divergence, with the most common outcomes being choppy sideways price action or slight bullish relief, it is quite likely, as always, no guarantees, but it's quite likely that in the coming days, very soon, we could take out that liquidity, considering usually the price of Bitcoin gets drawn towards where we have a lot of liquidity, and also considering this active bullish divergence playing out in the short term. And if you want to trade these sort of moves in the price of any crypto on a no KYC exchange, I'll also leave a link to 2bit below the video, where you can also take advantage of a bunch of bonuses here using that link below the video. The third link below the video will take you to this page where you can claim trading and deposit bonuses. For example, up to 10,000 USDT in trial fund bonuses and 8,000 USDT in withdrawable stablecoins just by depositing and trading crypto using the link below the video to 2bit. And on top of that, you can also get bonuses right here without making any deposits or any trades. For example, a $30 sign up bonus and 1 month free VIP3 upgrade simply just by making an account. It takes 30 seconds to do this using that third link below the video to 2bit. But once again, if you don't use that link, you can't claim any of these bonuses here. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, or preparing to take the next trading opportunity, you might as well take advantage of this using that link below the video. And once again, 2bit is a no KYC exchange. But with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin dominance chart on the daily time frame, and right now we're still trying to play out the bullish divergence, but of course over the last couple of days rejecting from this exact area of resistance, especially based on the daily candle closes. We've now seen multiple perfect rejections from this exact area of resistance, sitting in between around 60.5% to 61%. So continue to expect a lot of struggle and possible rejections from that area, as we've already seen over the last couple of weeks. But considering the fact that this bullish divergence could potentially still try to influence the price of the Bitcoin dominance here, it's possible that soon in the coming days we could see a continued little relief towards the upside to maybe see another test of this resistance. And then once again, if we make it back up towards that resistance, continue to expect struggle in that area for the Bitcoin dominance. And in case you're new to all of this and you're wondering how the Bitcoin dominance is relevant to crypto prices, basically all you need to know is if the Bitcoin dominance is bullish like this, then expect Bitcoin to outperform most of the major altcoins out there on average. Of course, there can be outliers, but basically the rule of thumb is if the Bitcoin dominance is bullish, it makes more sense to hold Bitcoin over altcoins, not financial advice. If the Bitcoin dominance is bearish or having a pullback, it means altcoins can be outperforming Bitcoin on average. And if we're taking a quick look at Ethereum on this daily time frame right here, we can see that right now the price of ETH is continuing to bounce from and hold above this important Fibonacci level, acting as support, sitting at around 30.50. So just above 3,000, in between 3,000 to 3.1k. We have a lot of support around there on the price chart based on this 38.2% Fibonacci level of support. But while the price is obviously holding above this area, we're also struggling at this exact area of resistance, obviously from previous support flipping into new resistance, which is an area I've been warning about over the last few days since before we've perfectly started to struggle in this area. And that's sitting in between around 33.50 to 34.50. So in that area right there, in that price range, expect a lot of resistance, which means the price struggling and possible rejections from that area, like what we've been seeing over the last few days. So we're kind of seeing the price get squeezed a little bit between this support and of course this resistance, and also trying to play out the oversold signal, because the last couple of times we got close to oversold in the daily Ethereum RSI, or especially close to this low in the daily Ethereum RSI, the last couple of times this happened, we did see a bit of a short-term bullish relief, not necessarily the bottom. It's possible we can go lower later on, but at least in the shorter term, some sort of bullish relief is quite likely to help to reset the RSI away from oversold. But while the price is trying to play out that oversold signal with a slight little relief in the short term, once again, we're struggling at this exact resistance, causing the price to struggle and reject from this area. So like I just said, we're kind of getting squeezed in the short term as the price is trying to play out a little bullish relief like this with this oversold signal playing out, but rejecting from this resistance. So that is the current situation in the short term, and it's currently causing a bit of choppy sideways price action with the price trying to play out a bullish relief and then rejecting from resistance, so on and so forth, causing a bit of a choppy sideways price range. But if the price of ETH can actually break out with confirmation above 34.50 and actually hold above that area, hold this as new support, in that situation, it'll become extremely likely would see a bullish relief up towards around 3.7k to 3.8k. That is the next major area of resistance to watch out for, and the next major price target on the price chart for the price of Ethereum, if we first confirm a breakout above 34.50. For now, that is the immediate obstacle to pay attention to. And if we're taking a quick look at the price of Solana on the 2-day time frame, obviously Solana is continuing to hold above and bounce from this exact area of support right here, sitting in between around 143 to 146, 147. So obviously continue to expect a lot of support around there on the price chart, as we have just bounced from that area. And as for resistance, expect a lot of resistance closer towards 170, slightly either side of 170. Expect a lot of resistance around there. And if we break out above that level in that situation, expect a lot more resistance in between 190 to 200. But overall, obviously, despite seeing a shorter term bounce, maybe a short term relief right now, obviously we're still in a bit of a bearish trend, forming a larger bearish price structure on the daily chart, the 2-day chart, for the price of Solana, forming lower highs and lower lows. And so when we're talking about the bigger picture over the next few weeks or months, we're still not in the clear yet. We're still not looking too good. But if we're talking about the immediate shorter term, as in over the next couple of days or so, yes, we could likely see either some choppy sideways price action or a slight bullish relief. Once again, don't expect a lot of strength or massive bullish momentum. Don't expect that right now, but expect just a bit of a break in the shorter term from the bearish trend, but possibly still within the trend, kind of like what we saw just here, for example. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the weekly time frame, obviously we're still playing out this massive bearish divergence on the much larger time frames, clearly helping to cause this much larger correction or larger pullback in the price of XRP, like what we've seen over the last few months or so. So keep in mind that's still playing out on the larger time frames. And if we're taking a look at a slightly shorter term here on the daily time frame, technically we do have a confirmed shorter term bullish divergence while playing out the larger bearish divergence. So in case you're new to all of this, obviously that does not contradict each other because it's on two different time frames. So basically we can see perhaps a sideways consolidation or slight bullish relief during a larger bearish trend caused by this larger bearish divergence, kind of like what we saw just here, for example. And kind of similar to Ethereum on this daily time frame, getting squeezed a little bit in the short term between support and resistance, playing out the oversold signal, but struggling at resistance. XRP is also kind of getting squeezed in the short term because we're trying to play out the bullish divergence with these bullish reliefs in the short term, but also struggling at this exact resistance and currently seeing a few rejections from this area of resistance in between roughly $2.30 to $2.40. So continue to expect a lot of resistance in that area, which means a lot of struggle and possible rejections from that area on the price chart. But remember, we still have an active bullish divergence, which means the price is trying to play out a bullish relief, but rejecting from resistance, trying to play out the bullish relief, rejecting from resistance, so on and so forth, causing choppy sideways price action. Right now, that is a very likely scenario and has already started to play out over the last few days. And so once again, this is causing a bit of a sideways price range in the immediate short term, but if the price continues pressing up against this resistance, that could help to weaken the resistance. The more we test resistance, the weaker it gets. So for as long as we continue holding up relatively well here and keep pushing up against the resistance, it's possible we could break the resistance, and only if that confirms, if we confirm a breakout, ideally with a daily candle close above $2.40 and actually holding above that resistance, in that situation, we'll very likely see a move up towards around $2.60 to $2.70 as a very likely price target, a major area of resistance to watch out for. But remember, only if we first confirm a breakout above $2.40. For now, $2.30 to $2.40 is the immediate obstacle, the immediate resistance to pay attention to. And as for shorter term support to watch out for, based on these daily candle closes, we have a lot of support right here at roughly around $2.20. And we also have a lot more support down towards around $2.05 to $2.06. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, it's a kind of similar situation for Chainlink right now. Obviously still within this larger bearish trend, forming lower highs and lower lows, but currently experiencing just a shorter term relief, a shorter term break from the bearish trend, but not necessarily the end of the trend. It's possible we could just see a bit of a choppy sideways price action or a slight bullish relief during the bearish trend, kind of like what we saw just here, for example. But right now it is clear that we're actively playing out a bullish divergence on the daily Chainlink price chart, with clear lower lows in the price in the candle closes and higher lows now confirmed in the daily Chainlink RSI, which once again is confirming a new bullish divergence, which means ultimately expect either a sideways consolidation or a slight bullish relief as the most likely outcomes, the most common outcomes from a bullish divergence, but don't expect a massive high momentum reversal out of the bearish trend based on this alone. And that's not enough of a signal, not enough confirmation to confirm basically the end of the bearish trend, but it is enough of a signal to expect at least a bit of a shorter term relief or a bit of a break in the short term from the bearish trend, but not necessarily the end of the trend. And over the last one day, we obviously started to break out above this golden pocket here, but so far we're failing to obviously see the follow through and hold above the golden pocket, which is a crucial part of the breakout. We need to actually hold above and confirm candle closes above 1570 in order to actually confirm the breakout above this golden pocket. So right now we don't really have a lot of confirmation to actually confirm the breakout above this area, at least not yet. But if we confirm this breakout and actually hold above this area in between 1520 to 1570, if we hold above this area on the price chart, in that situation, it's likely we could see a move up towards around 1650 to 1670 as an area of resistance. Above that, expect more resistance at around 1750 and major resistance in between $19 to $20. But overall, expect something similar for Chainlink as what I said throughout the video for most of these crypto assets, especially Bitcoin, for example, playing out a bit of choppy sideways price action. It's possible we could see a slight little relief in the short term, a slight bullish relief, but overall, in terms terms of the next few weeks or months, we're not in the clear yet. Things are still not looking too good for the price of Chainlink. It's just in the short term, we could see a bit of a relief. And once again, if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of any crypto, check out the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim the massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how you can take these sort of trades to make profits no matter what the price is doing, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.